lots of different things that are in foods that we eat every day that you don't realize. You think you're being healthy and you're not. So I really had to take it into my own hands.
Jennifer Fisher is best known for her eponymous jewelry designs, which have been worn by everyone from Rihanna to J-Lo. Jennifer's most recent evolution from cult favorite accessories designer to holistic advocate was inspired by her own personal health journey. After being diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, Jennifer focused on building a lifestyle and lifestyle brand maiden that balances mindset and food. She joins us today to discuss her new cookbook, Trust Your Gut, where she brings that philosophy to the kitchen, offering anti-inflammatory recipes designed to help readers make food that is healthy and easy. Everybody knows you for your jewelry brand, of course, the eponymous Jennifer Fisher, which seems worlds away from the food and cooking industry. How did you go from jewelry to food?
It's so funny, it's sort of how I went from styling into jewelry. I was a stylist before I was a jewelry designer, and it just happened. I have Hashimoto's. I live with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. And my endocrinologist wanted me to start eating more protein at breakfast. And I could not find anything to put on my eggs in the morning. There was no seasoning salt that was on the market that wasn't a barbecue rub or tasted like potpourri. I went to every specialty grocery store that I could to try to source it, and I couldn't find anything. And I literally just made a little concoction on the side of my stove one day. My father used to send me his lemons and avocados from California, and I would always grate the lemon rind. And I literally just put all of my favorite spices into one bowl, and I didn't want garlic or onion on it in the morning. So I didn't want to walk around with garlic and onion breath all day long after eating my eggs. So I started putting out everything, and it was just, kosher salt, black pepper, crushed red chili pepper flakes, the lemon rind, some cilantro, and some parsley and dill. And I started putting on everything. My husband was like, what are you seasoning the food with? This is delicious. And then one day, as one does on Instagram, I posted my egg avocado toast on my jewelry page. And first of all, it was this crazy response. So first of all, people were saying, well, you can cook, first of all. And then second of all, what's that seasoning that's on top of your eggs? And that's really how it started. And people didn't know that I've been cooking since I was a kid. I went to Montessori school and learned how to fry my first egg there. And after school in 5th and 6th grade, my mom sent me to cooking class after school. And so my art teacher was the teacher. I still have the recipe cards. They're actually a photo in the book.
Sweet, I saw that.
Yeah, so I've been cooking forever. So it just was sort of a natural progression. The salt in 2017. And really then I started during COVID to start cooking a little bit more on Instagram. And people started getting to know me for cooking food.
You have these wonderful salts.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Our first one, universal salt, no garlic or onion. All of my favorite things. This is the first one when my endocrinologist said, you've got to start eating protein in the morning, that I came up with, and that was sitting on the side of my stove. And then I posted to Instagram for the first time when people figured out that I knew how to cook and actually poach an egg. Spicy salt is our most popular one. It has a Korean gochugaru chili flakes in it. It's not hot spicy. It's more of an umami spice. But all of these, by the way, and then there's curry, which is a Japanese curry, which is delicious. So this on tomatoes, like summer tomatoes and avocado, eggs, delicious. All of these can be used as a pre-seasoning for any protein or roasted vegetable, or you can use it as a finishing salt. I wanted it to be easy. Like all of this stuff should be easy. None of this should be challenging. None of this should be fancy. All of the recipes in this book are so easy to make because I don't have time to do anything. I'm also not professionally trained. I've had to hack my way through this and figure out how to cook. Everything in here is meant to be delicious. I've got buffalo cauliflower, so it's like you're eating buffalo chicken from a bar.
Right.
I love bar food.
Yeah,
so
I do too.
I want everything to sort of just be so delicious that you don't realize what you're eating is anti-inflammatory and that it's missing flour. And also another thing, every recipe in here has subs, so you can do it with regular flour. Like my mom's banana bread, I still make it to this day with AP flour because it's the most popular way to do it, and cane sugar and unsalted butter. You can also, there's a way to do it with almond flour and dairy-free butter. So there's ways to make everyone happy in this book. That's another thing. We all have families and different people that eat different ways, and it's really, really important that everyone is happy and everyone wants to eat this way. But these salts are meant to be used on everything. So even if you don't cook, sprinkle a little on an avocado, a little on some eggs, and you're good. And it's delicious.
Which I love. And it's, we talked about this a little bit before, just this idea of not feeling pigeonholed. I mean, you've made these transitions, styling to jewelry design was maybe a more logical transition, but actually following the things that you're interested in, AKA Trusting Your Gut, the appropriately named book. It's such a great title, by the way. And it's sort of a phrase that you seem to live by. What does it mean to you personally when it comes to building and launching a business?
I think it's really important to trust your gut, first of all, and do something that you really love and are passionate about, because you've got to do it 24/7 every day. Running and, starting this jewelry brand out of nowhere after the birth of my son, Shane, by just wanting to wear something, the dog tags, which because you wore them for years.
I had them for a million years until I lost them.
We'll fix that. And, I wanted something different. I wanted his full name. I wanted something on there, and it was meaningful to me, and I was passionate about it. I wanted something different that no one else had. And I wanted to wear his name as armor. And little did I know that when I put it out there, more people wanted to do that, wanted to wear it as well. And the business just naturally evolved out of something that I felt was lacking in the market.
You really do have to be excited about what you're doing in order to do it every single day, So what has changed for you, would you say, at midlife?
What's interesting is my father passed away a few years ago. And I think when he passed away, it also gave me this sense of, not a sense of urgency, but really a sense of, every day I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to do what I'm doing every day and to have a chance to do something different. So I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I am into food and lifestyle and salt and jewelry. And so why can't I? It's a little, people are like, that's so strange. It's weird, but it's not. It's who I am.
I mean, you're beautiful jewelry has, resonated with everyone that I know. And I think, there is a whole new sort of food frontier and an awareness around health and wellness and the importance of the gut as sort of the engine of so many things, behind so many things.
Well, it really started for me in my 30s after going through chemotherapy for my desmoid tumor and really having to figure out how to live and to feel good. I had to really kind of do all of this sort of, Sherlock Holmes like investigation on my own to figure out how to do this. It's really about eating less processed foods and eating less in general, pure proteins, vegetables, keeping it clean with olive oils, lots of good fats. There's lots of different things that are in foods that we eat every day that you don't realize. You think you're being healthy and you're not. So I really had to take it into my own hands.
There's a strong emphasis that this book isn't about dieting. It isn't about diet. It's really about restoring your gut, maintaining a healthy gut microbiome. How do you help readers move away from this diet mentality?
I get so many questions from women every day on Instagram. It's, I eat a whole avocado. I just pour olive oil on my food. I don't count calories. It's not about that. It's about eating to feel satiated, and it's about eating the right foods. At our age, protein is very important. I eat giant salads every day. I pack these jar salads for lunch that are filled with amazing, I eat as much color as you can. I always, say to my kids, eat the rainbow. Try to eat as much as you can, but eat as many different colors as you can every day.
And so when you're eating out, and this goes back to the, I'm not going to totally restrict myself if I'm going out with friends and we're, indulging. But what are some tricks?
When I go out with my girlfriends, we're having cocktails and they like to order French fries. I'll be like, let's get a hand salad. And that's what I make, like a little vinaigrette, and we get a bunch of lettuce, and it's dipping the lettuce into it actually kind of works, because it's kind of funny when you're drinking, it's more of a social thing. Also, no added salt too. I always ask to not add salt, and I stay away from soy. So anything with soy. So I eat a lot of raw bar when I eat out. I'll get a lot, if I can, I'll get a shrimp cocktail. I'll get oysters. I'll try to get some sort of a sashimi, any kind of a
crudo.
Yeah, crudo. Or a grilled fish.
Yeah, and autoimmune diseases are so under-researched and underfunded and not understood by general practitioners. You've really had to take matters into your own hands. What have been sort of your greatest sources of inspiration, knowledge?
What's interesting is when I was diagnosed with it was when I was in high school. And finally, I found a female endocrinologist here in New York City when I first moved to New York about 25 years ago. She's like, you've got to get off the gluten. And she was the first one that sort of helped pave the way for me to start making those changes. I had no other help. And then I sort of had to do the rest of the research on my own to see, just trial and error of how to make myself feel better.
I mean, and this is sort of the nature of our community. It's like so much of what we learn is just, think about stuff like frozen shoulder or achy joints that like a year ago people didn't associate this with menopause, but like the more people state their symptoms and say, I have this weird thing, then we start to sort of see patterns. It's so important for people to talk to each other, for women to talk to each other about this stuff in particular, because I think we are so used to kind of just carrying the burden and not complaining and, not making a stink lest we be called hysterical or something.
Yeah, I know.
know.
I've found my community on social media to be a really big support group and also a really great source of information.
I bet.
Just by sharing, I don't like to gatekeep things. I like to share as much as I can on social media, and it's been really, really helpful in finding, new things through other women that are going through the same thing as me.
Are there pantry staples, condiments that are sort of secretly inflammatory that people should pay attention to?
Yes. I mean, your favorite hot sauce probably has gums in it or cane sugar. Your favorite, any of your jelly jams, things like that. So you have to constantly read your labels. But my favorite hot sauce had guar gum in it, and I had no idea.
So what are 3 things you always keep stocked in your pantry and in your fridge?
Protein in my freezer. That's the most important thing, because in the morning, I'm a big believer in not wasting food. And I used to grocery shop for a week. I mean, you know what it's like being a mother, to make sure that you have whatever you need or whatever your kids ask for dinner. So now I shop less. I do, every 2 or 3 days, I'll buy a few fresh things, but my freezer is always stocked with ground meat, any kind of seafood. I also keep canned crab, canned tuna, things like that can be great sources of protein for us to kind of make whatever we want at the last minute. I'll make wraps out of meat now. That's a new thing that's going to go in the next cookbook, but it's delicious.
And what's the vessel?
The meat, it's ground turkey or ground chicken.
And then what's the wrap? What are you using?
That's the wrap.
Oh.
So you flatten it out. It's ground meat that you season with onion, garlic, and sun-dried tomatoes, and it almost tastes like a pizza, pepperoni pizza. It's delicious.
Oh my God.
It's really good. And then you fill it with arugula, and I put in some vegan cheese is another one, some vegan feta, and arugula inside of it with avocado. And that's your wrap. It's made out of meat.
Delicious.
It's all protein.
I love it. You have been an entrepreneur for a long time. How is it different this chapter?
Like we said in the beginning, I don't really care as much what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And this chapter is really about doing exactly what I want in my own terms and on my own way. And this cookbook is something that it's the same way thing with my salads. I'm passionate about this. It's what I really want to be doing. And I think it's all connected. Why can't I be a jewelry designer and still do all of these things? Like, I did a CB2 collaboration going into COVID of home and lifestyle. I designed 108 pieces of furniture and home. They still have some of the pieces on the website. I love being able to design in all different areas, and designing in my kitchen is basically food. It's food design.
Exactly. I mean, you're sort of like a polymath creative, which is, I think, so many highly creative people should be allowed to spread their wings and get out of their lane. I think that's a great message. And what would you tell women our age, let's say, whatever, at any age really, but especially women who have had some first work chapter? What would you say about sort of starting chapter 2?
Well, I say this all the time. I say, don't be afraid to do it, because people are not really paying that much attention to you. You think they are, but they're not. People are really focused. They're focused on what they're doing. People are pretty self-centered. So don't be afraid to go and do it and make mistakes. It's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect, but you just have to go and do it. You're not going to know unless you try.
Yeah, I think that's a great message. And I think, I think that the combination of being this age and feeling like, well, I've accomplished a lot, so who cares if I fail at this, in some ways is a nice message. And you haven't let go of your primary business or your first business, which is, and why not heap it on? Let's do more.
No, we're growing, and I feel like we're just getting started. It's 20 years of my jewelry this year. We're just getting started.
I can't believe it's been 20 years.
It's crazy. We just opened a new store on Madison Avenue. We're opening a new store in LA. There's a lot going on, and this is like, I feel like I'm just getting started. And now that my kids are out of, that was another thing. I wanted to wait until my kids went to college.
Yeah. And
so now is my opportunity. And I think that a lot of women need to look at it that way, that, your kids are off. And people think, oh, my kids are gone. This is your huge opportunity now to go and do whatever you want with the rest of your life.
Right, exactly.
And what a gift.
The empty nest plan. I feel like we could go on and on forever. I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited for your cookbook. We're thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.